Hi everyone, my name is Hannah and this is Pepper and Pine, and today I'm answering your questions. If you want to participate, all you need to do is leave your question down in the comment section below. Today's question comes from Instagram from Megan Renee Cruz, and she asks, how do you keep your kids focused? With ADHD, it's hard to complete tasks and schoolwork. So before we get started, I want to suggest two YouTubers who are also on Instagram who have children with varying academic needs. The first one is Project Happy Home, and Tanya does talk a lot about ADHD and other learning I don't want to call them exactly learning challenges, but different ways that students learn. She has tons of tips. And the other one is A Common Life, and you can find her here on YouTube as well as Instagram. And links to both of their channels and Instagrams are down below in the description box, so I highly encourage you to check them out. Michelle over at A Common Life also talks about different learning capabilities, and she has a lot of great advice to share with you. So I have learned a few tips from moms who do have children with ADHD and other learning modalities. And while those tips can be helpful for all students, they are especially necessary for children who struggle with focus and other issues. So I don't have a ton of original things to share with you since I did not have children who had those kinds of struggles. Now, focus is going to be a challenge for a lot of students on a general basis when it comes to things that either they're not interested in, things that they find difficult, or things that they have just gotten fatigued over and they just don't have any more energy to expend focusing anymore. So there's a few things that we can help those students to achieve, and that one of the things is being able to be mindful of their focus to begin with. And we want to start with small increments of time where we are expecting them to stay focused on a task, and then we can grow from there. But the first thing is to actually know what is appropriate. And what's appropriate for a very young student, about 5 years old, is only about 15 minutes. And that's not even deep concentration. That's just general focus. So if your lessons are more than 15 minutes, you can expect that after 15 minutes, they are not focused, or to keep their focus is going to be a lot of struggle, or they just start to kind of get, anxious and moving around and just not paying attention anymore. So the first thing is to know and expect what is typical for your student as far as their attention span and their focus. Then we can start to work to find ways to help them. If their attention span is only about 2 minutes and they are 10 years old, then we want to help them achieve a longer focus period of time, because they're going to need that. Most probably they're going to need that the rest of their life, is to be able to mind their attention and their focus for longer than that. Now, if they are 5 years old and you're expecting them to stay in their seat for an hour, then maybe we need to change our expectations because they're maybe too young for that kind of focus. Now, one thing that you might consider is doing the same task at the same time every day, so that the children or the students get accustomed to that expectation upon them, and that they can expect that they are going to be required to have their attention focused on a particular task for a particular period of time. So when we're building those habits, we can build them through routine and rhythm. And that way, on a daily basis, as you repeat those tasks, that power of habit kind of takes over, and it's not so much that decision, it just becomes a habit. And that's going to be really helpful for those students. Now, students who are easily distracted, you may need to set up their workspace away from distractions. Now, if you don't have a separate space for them, you may just choose to make a little divider using some cardboard, a box, or even those project dividers that you find at supply stores. And that might be enough to keep them on task and not easily distracted. Having not had a student with ADHD and other learning challenges, it's hard for me to suggest things that I have done that work because we haven't had those challenges in our homeschool. But there are times where just our general focus for just average students starts to wane, and it's an opportunity for you to do a few things. Sometimes it means that we need to close a lesson, take a break, and then revisit that exact same lesson later on in the day. Sometimes it means we close the lesson for the day, even if it's only been 10 minutes, and we revisit it another day. Sometimes it's recognizing that the material that we're expecting our students to achieve is beyond their capabilities, and we don't just need to close the lesson for the day or the week. We actually need to close it for the entire year and revisit it the following year when they're a little bit more capable. Now, there is this delicate balance and this dance that we do between when do we quit, when do we persevere? And that's something that I feel as a parent, as a teacher, we know best for our students, but it doesn't mean that we know it all. And sometimes we need to seek advice or get feedback from those around us so that we can more fine-tune our teaching and our expectations. I hope that these tips were helpful to you. Don't forget to check out Project Happy Home and Tanya's videos here on YouTube as well as on Instagram, as well as Michelle from A Common Life. You're going to get so many tips and ideas from both of those women who have extensive experience in homeschooling and parenting, especially parenting those children that are high needs. Don't forget to check out some of the other videos in this series. You can tap on the screen right now to check those out. You can participate in this Q&A by leaving your question down in the comment section below. And don't forget that if you want to see how our homeschool is progressing on a daily basis, you can find me on Instagram at Pepper and Pine.